Hey everyone, welcome back to my shop in Ohio, and welcome back to the little mini series about the race cars that I own. So I hope everyone's having a great night. I'm headed back to Florida tomorrow, but while I was here, I got 5 of 5 cars done in less than 2 weeks. I'd say that was pretty good, especially doing it by myself. Um, by the way, we still do not have Rockstar as a sponsor. Just to update everyone, some of you are concerned. Is Rockstar sponsoring you yet? Are they paying for your yacht? Nope. But I'm paying for theirs. So we talked about the Neon in one of the series, the SRT4. Scary, scary fun car. And then we talked about the MR6, the group build that we race in a bunch of different series, Lemons and SVRA and NASA and all that. And then here we have 1978 Chevrolet Monza 2+2. This car has kind of an interesting history. Um, my friend Craig Reed inherited this car from a friend of his that passed away, who raced it in Lemons prior. A few years he raced it 2016, 2017, 2018. No, 17, 18, 19. He raced it in Lemons, and he passed away recently. And as part of his will, he gave it to my friend Craig. And Craig said, "Hey, you guys are racing a bunch of Lemon stuff. Do you want to do a second team with a second car?" I said, "Yeah, that would be great." He's like, "Well, I feel kind of guilty about selling this car, but I'd like to sell it to someone who's going to race it in Lemons because that's what my buddy would have wanted." And I was like, "You got it, man." So I bought the car. The fun part was it actually came with a spare engine, and the engine in this car is the 4.3 liter V6 out of the Chevy van. So it's a very robust engine, but it's not a lot of horsepower. I think we're at 180, maybe 200 horsepower. I'd have to look it up again, but it's a reliable engine. It's iron block, iron heads, and it's very durable. Again, not indestructible. All engines can blow up, but this one's really durable, and that's why the previous owner decided to run with that instead of a small block Chevy, which is what this originally came with. The 2+2s came with the 305, and it is a M22 Rock Crusher 4-speed, which is a great 4-speed. So those guys mated it up with the 4.3, a more reliable. It's a little more economical engine than the 305, not by much, especially because it runs a carburetor instead of fuel injection. That's probably one of the things that will change on this, because I do have a spare right down here. I have a spare Holly Sniper EFI from the limo project. So we might run EFI on this just to get a little more efficiency, a little more horsepower. And this car, it can be a ton of fun. It was originally designed as a Lemons car. It is, ever since the guy started on it, it has never had any aspirations to race anywhere outside of Lemons, which is fine because Lemons is an absolute blast. And this car is sort of the epitome of Lemons. He got it super cheap. He added all the safety gear, and then he didn't, put a reliable engine in it, and then he didn't do anything else. As you can tell, the body's still in primer gray. This front fascia is totally from a different car. The hood we'll talk about later. This fender has tons of dents in it. You can see the fender flares in the back are custom. We'll zoom in on a bunch of this stuff, but it was originally designed to be a Lemons car, and it's always been that way since the guy first started on it. It's never had any aspirations to um, go to Daytona or anything like that. It's a Lemons car, and you'll see that from the interior too. Um, just because it's a Lemons car doesn't mean it's a total shitbox. I mean, these things are built to be incredibly safe, and that's an absolute top priority in Lemons and almost in all racing actually. Drifting is actually getting into safety, which is something new. Normally, you just had to have a helmet and maybe a lap belt, but they're actually getting pretty serious about it. So that's cool. And then safety is the priority. And then you have decent equipment, but it's how you do it. And with this car, it's kind of funny. The guy used whatever gauges he had. He didn't get a match set, for the tack and the oil pressure and the fuel and all. He's like, well, I got this one, and then I found this one super cheap, and I found this one super cheap. So he just kind of put those together into what's in the car. Didn't have a switch panel, so he just drilled a bunch of holes in a piece of plastic, wrote on there, and there's your switch panel. Hang on. What do we got here? Did you get to drive it today? No, I did not. Who's here? Oh, it's Denise. Hey, um, Denise, you have a badge now. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know they were giving out badges. Okay, that's cool. I didn't get to drive it today. I'll get to that in a minute. Um, this is, like I said, it's a true Lemons car. He got it going. It's reliable. It'll run all day, and then hopefully run all the next day. Lemons is split up into 2 days now. That's how they do it. But it was meant to be sort of industrial, not so much pretty, super sleek, whatever. It was meant to be industrial and just to keep on doing laps and doing laps and doing laps. And that's what this car is. Um, so we'll go through some of the stuff on it just real quick. Like I said, I haven't had a ton of time in this car. I've driven it maybe 50 feet, and I didn't get to drive it today because for some reason the fuel pump would not fire up. And because there's a ton of stuff in the back, there's a bunch of spares. There's a spare dash, there's spare body panels, there's a spare nose. So there's a bunch of spares in there that I can't really pull out and get to the fuel pump and find out what's wrong with it. So when I have storage for that stuff and it's out of the car, I'll go through the fuel pump. So I just pushed it in here. My friend David came by and gave me a hand pushing it in. And so fuel pump did not work. I didn't get to drive it today. I have driven it before. It's a very cool car. Like I said, super reliable, but it's not a ton of horsepower and it's not very sexy. Everyone who's hoping for a Lamborghini Diablo, you are looking at the wrong car. But in 1978, this was actually a pretty cool car. This was, you had in 78 from Chevy's lineup, you had the Corvette, you had the Camaro, and then you came down to this. This was another one of their sport coupes. And this is, sort of during the, gas crisis and all that. So they made 4-cylinder versions of this. They made V6 and then they made V8s. The 2+2s were the V8 versions. Another reason why I purchased this car was I am a massive fan. I'm probably the second or maybe third biggest fan in the world of the Decon Monzas. And Decon is Dekon. So if you want to go look up those cars are astounding. And I would love to do this car like that, but I'm about $2 million short. Those cars were incredible. They were 383 small blocks. They were throwing down almost 700 horsepower naturally aspirated. And if you want some fun trivia, the Decon Monzas were the cars that pissed off Porsche so much that they took 2 years out of IMSA to develop the 935. And then the 935 came in and whooped everyone's ass. So thankfully we had the Monza so we could get the 935. Because without this, Porsche would have been struggling all day long. And we would have had to wait until Audi came in and kicked everyone's ass. So this is a very cool car. Maybe one day we'll do the Budweiser number 20, replica, and I don't know. We'll pretend to be Bruce Canepa and his crew and all that. He's the guy who owns the number 20 Decon Monza. So that's another reason why I like this car. I like the history and the the provenance behind the Monza and its heritage in racing. I think it's pretty cool. So the wheels, you can tell right away where those wheels came from. If you're a car person, you can tell where those wheels came from. Those came from a 1988 Pontiac Trans Am GTA. Those were the OEM wheels, front and rear. And they're 15x7 up front, and I think 15x9 in the rear. I got to double check that. You guys are still talking here. Hey, nothing wrong with the decon mods in the making. Yep. Yeah, everyone needs a competitor. So that's the cool part. I'm just, to terrify Porsches. So we're gonna go to Lemons and we're gonna try and terrify BMWs. That's our trick. The wheels are from the GTA, and you can kind of see. I'll bring you guys close and I'll show you how the guy did the fender flares in the back. It's actually very funny. The hood, we had a little problem with the hood on delivery. When Hammond took this out for a little joyride, he forgot to put the hood pins in, and this doesn't have a hood latch. So the hood actually folded up, and he ripped out both of the hinges up in the corner because the hood folded. You can see the hood just shift right now because there's no hinge on that side. And the hinge is badly bent on this side. So there is a hood prop here. I don't know where he props. Oh, he props right here. Is he going to stay? Okay, good. That hinge isn't bolted in on this side because there's 2 bolts right here because this is creased right here. This is where it folded back. You can't leave these guys alone with a car. That's one of the biggest problems. So I grab a light and we can take a look. Of course, this is all steel. And I'll bring you guys into the engine bay and take a look. Whoa, come back here. Excuse me. There's our engine bay. As you can see, we're running a carburetor, and this has a little tag on it. Holy crap. All right. Well, remember when I told you it was out of a Chevy van? It's actually not out of a Chevy van. This engine isn't. The other one might be, the spare. This engine is out of a boat. This is a Mare Cruiser tag, which means that this came out of a boat. Okay, now that's funny. That's kind of funny. Another thing, and I'm not sure if you guys can see it down here, there's a chain, and is my hand in the way? Sort of here, you can sort of see it. There's a chain down there, and that's called a torque chain. That chain goes from the cylinder head to the frame rail. When the engine, there's cobwebs in here. When the engine turns, it can actually cause damage and it can rip engine mounts out. So we have a torque chain down here. I had one of these in my 70 Mercury Cougar, which was pretty cool. But I broke it. I had a lot of torque in that car. The torque chain is a simple setup to keep the engine from ripping engine mounts. And it also helps you, obviously to put power down. The other thing, it helps in cars that have radiator hoses that are, the big radiator hoses that come here. The fan that's here can actually torque over and cut that radiator hose. So that's another reason why we have the torque chain like this. This has an oil cooler, and I'm surprised it's actually mounted in here. It's a big, huge 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 34 row intercooler, oil cooler. It's not a plate. Standard brakes on this, but it has really kick-ass brake pads. I don't remember what they're from, but the guys told me that they were great. This is our fuel filter. This is for our fuel pressure gauge, which I'll show you on the front of the car. Again, distributor in the back. We have our fire suppression over there. Big ass alternator. It runs a serpentine belt system with a water pump here, tensioner down there, and crank. There's no AC on this. There is defrost, but there's no air conditioning. Obviously, race car, you're not really going to use that. If you want to be cool, go faster. That's how it works. This has cracked. I have no clue why he used a piece of PVC pipe, a T-fitting here, but this is cracked and leaks coolant. So we have to get a new hose for this. That's one of the reasons why we're not running this. I have no clue why there's a relay over here. These are a fan, and this thing is about, and he's about to pull out of this connector. So there's some stuff that we have to do touch-up wise. This is obviously a new radiator, and I'm gonna guess it's dual core, but it's a really nice aluminum radiator versus the OEM one, which was steel. So this will really help keep the car cooler. Um, there's the zip tie here that I think is supposed to be holding the fan on. But he's cutting my hand. So anyway, there's some stuff we have to do in this engine bay. That is hysterical that this is a boat engine. We also need a breather cover over here. We'll have to clean up some of this wiring because there's no shielding on this, and it's going to get hot and melt, and then bad shit happens. So we'll take care of that. We still have our overflow tank. All the other tanks are out of here. The windshield washer, all the other stuff is out of here. So that's nice. It's a fairly clean engine bay. It's also, you can see how big it is. You can see why a 305, a regular V8, would fit in here without any issue. So decent engine bay. Like I said, we just have to do some cleanup on wiring and you know, some little stuff, some breathers. This is for some reason there's a spare. Oh no, this is to keep the oil cap on, because I guess the oil cap vibrates loose. So there's a return spring here to make sure it stays on. That's so awesome. Hammond in the doghouse? I don't think so. He's allowed to work on the cars. His crazy ass Bentley projects outside. Yeah, I don't think he's in the doghouse. He was here. He was here last night, and we didn't kill each other, so I don't think he's in the doghouse. He's in the doghouse for folding this hood back. I'm pissed about that, and he has to fix it. But that's fine. If he fixes it, that's fine. I don't care. If he doesn't fix it, then he's in the doghouse. So in the engine bay, we're actually in really good shape. We still have wipers too, which is nice, because usually it does rain. When we're doing stuff, it usually rains. So close the hood up. I'll get you guys back here. Let me get this cord out of the way. Slide you guys back and up a little. And I'll get this closed. Is he just, yeah, okay. That's where he goes. So now you have to do this where you slide the hood back so it lines up on the pins. And now you're supposed to have hood pins here. The hood pins vanished. No one knows where they are. This 98 will not stay on here. This is done in Sharpie, and this is regular. So I don't know why. There's a whole bunch of question marks with this. Up here, you can see our fuel pressure gauge up on the cowl. And we're supposed to have wipers on here, but the old wipers were totally dead. And so I just have this protective tape on there. If you've ever done this where it comes down and smacks the windshield, it'll absolutely destroy your windshield. We have some old pit race stickers. We're going to leave these on here, but we'll put them on. We'll take them off this side of the windshield and we'll put them over there. That's how we stack up our race stickers. So we'll stack them up over on the passenger side, a little bit of heat gun, and they can peel off. We do not have headlights in here because we run during the day. So there's no headlights in the car. The paint thing that says tow will actually have real stickers on there. We're just going to do everything in primer gray again. We'll keep it super simple. So I'm going to bring you guys around to, and I have to be careful with the lift arms and underside of the car. Whoops, just caught on that cord. Hang on. I'm just going to keep catching on that cord. So if you guys look right down there, I'll come down here. This is our exhaust. We have dual exhaust, and this was done with like Walmart pipe tubing. It works. It is absolutely straight piped. It's really loud, but it is very low. We're going to have to raise that exhaust up. In all the racing stuff we do, the exhaust has to dump out behind the driver. You can't have a hood exit. You can't do stuff out of the fender up here. It has to be behind the driver. It's a safety thing they do. So we'll probably still run pipes out the side here, but we're going to have to raise these up because we have almost no clearance underneath the car. Has this obnoxious wing on the back, which I don't know, I guess we'll keep just for obnoxiousness sake. And let me get some of this stuff out of the way so I can get you guys in there. We will take a look at the interior. Hang on, let me go on the other side of the lift. Oops. All right. This is a really, really bad shot. But I don't have the other camera, so there's not much else I can do. Sorry, I keep hitting that mic. So that's kind of as good as we can get right there. Motec system exhaust. Yeah, exactly. I got it from Hector. He had it on eBay. So let me grab a light for you guys. And I'll come over to this side. More steel. Doors open, fairly normal. There are 2 mats in here. There are a couple of floor mats in here that are absolutely hysterical. And hopefully you guys can enjoy these. There you go. You can screenshot those if you'd like. Those are the rubber floor mats for in here. So I'm gonna see if I can get down here with you guys. Kind of poke my head in here. I can't read the chat from here. It's all the way on the other side of the car. So we have a Kirky race seat, and yes, we do have a cover for this. Kirky seats are a little bit different than the fiberglass or the carbon fiber seats that you normally see. These are aluminum. These do not have a shelf life. These can go for as long as you want. The problem is they are incredibly uncomfortable. These are Kirky's originally designed for drag racing. And in drag racing, you're going to spend maybe 5 or 10 minutes in the car, do your run, get out, rebuild engine, get back in, do another run. So you're not spending a ton of time in there. So they're not super concerned about comfort. They're far more concerned about safety. This is an incredibly safe seat, especially if you're drag racing. But for endurance racing, it is not very comfortable. Even if we had the pad in here, the pad is obviously not in here. These guys added this carpet padding to try and help out, but it's not enough. And I can appreciate it. It passes tech, which is okay. That's a good thing. But it's not a really good seat for endurance racing. So we're definitely going to swap this out. We'll probably take the seat from the MR6 and put it in here. The steering wheel has to go. You guys can barely see that. It's still the OEM steering wheel. The horn's been removed. I'm going to move you guys on the other side of the lift once I do this stuff here. You can see the roll cage. The roll cage is unfinished. It's unpainted. It has a ton of corrosion on it. I don't know if we're going to paint it. No idea. You can also see we have some other dash stuff. We have some interior pieces. We have another nose here. And there's a bunch of other parts in the trunk area. There's no back seat. It's a 6-point roll cage, and it's really nice. It's a really nice roll cage. We have the NASCAR bar on this side and a straight pipe on the other side. There's no mount for the passenger seat. Our fire suppression is there in the passenger seat area, along with our battery. I'm going to swing you guys on the other side of the post, and I'll show you the dash. So give me a second here. Get back up off the floor. Get you guys in a better position. So this is why we have camera operators, because they can move a lot quicker than me coming all the way around here. So I know this is going to look weird, but It's worth it. I think. I think it's worth it. Let's see how close I can get you guys in there. And of course, I can't see Jack because I'm on the back side here. So that is honestly that's like as close as I don't let me see. Hang on a second. Hang on a second here. I don't know what's in this box. Brand new race quip belts. So we have brand new belts for this car, which is nice. It's like $400 in belts. So we're going to use that. And thanks for your patience, you guys. I'm trying to do cool stuff here with just one person, and we'll see how well it works. So give me a second here. I'm gonna bring you guys in. Oh, we have comments here too. Motec looks fine, audio and visually. Cool, thank you. So I'm gonna bring you guys in. You can pretend to be a passenger, and I'll see if I can go over this stuff without blinding you too much. I know that light's kind of bright. I'll see if I can move it. Slightly. Lighting on the fly is always fun. So, yeah. Maybe. That's a little bit better. So this is basically a Lemons car dash. This is what it's going to look like in most Lemons cars. You're going to have super basic everything. Most of the interior is going to be stripped out. Obviously, we have no HVAC controls, no GPS, no Apple CarPlay. Most of the console's been removed. We still have our shifter, and we still have our reverse lockout, which is very handy. We have our parking brake, and we also have the microphone push to talk on the parking brake, which is very handy, actually. We have our fire pole, which is right there. You guys saw it on the other side. Our steering wheel is awful. This is the original steering wheel with no horn. We have to take this out. We can't run with this in there. It's not comfortable with the seating position and all of that. So we're going to do a removable steering wheel. It's going to make it a lot easier to get in and out of the car. We have our main power kill. We have our water temp. We have our oil pressure. We have our RPM. You guys can kind of see those. And then we have our fuel level over there. Our main battery kill is at a 90-degree angle. I don't know why all of this stuff is twisted, but we're going to get it all vertical at the 12 o'clock position. So when you're optimal, you're at 12 o'clock. It makes it a lot easier when you're on the track and you're going down the straight and you want to check your gauges. If all of your needles are at 12 o'clock pointing straight up, you know everything's fine. If something is off one way or the other, you know to double check that. But we want to make sure everything is 12 o'clock. So these guys have their red line set at 6,000 RPMs, that's fine, but it's not at 12 o'clock. It's all the way over here at 3 o'clock. So we'll rotate the gauge, accordingly. Same thing with the oil pressure. It's rotated. I honestly don't know. And water temp is also rotated. We want to be right around 200, just under 200. So there's stuff that has to be rotated. This definitely has to be rotated. The fuel gauge is actually the fuel gauge. It's normal and 12 o'clock. So steering wheel is going to come out. We'll get a different steering wheel. It'll probably be the same diameter, about 350 millimeters, but we'll have a quick release on it, and we'll have an extension. So the steering wheel will come back a little closer to the driver. Right now, the steering wheel is very far away from the driver. It's not comfortable with shifting or anything else. If you had the regular OEM seat in here, you'd have a lot more cushioning. It would push you forward. That'd be fine. This doesn't have telescopic, so you can't slide it in or out. It's easier just to get an aftermarket extension, steering wheel, call it done. And it'll be easier to get in and out of the car with the roll cage and stuff. Up here, we have this huge wink mirror. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels, which really helps with vision in the back. We couldn't run that in the MR6 because our roll cage is in the way. This one, because the roll cage where it sits, it's just zip tied to the roll cage and it works just fine. Again, this is done super economically and super cheap. Let's go over to our panel. I don't have a ton of room here, that's why. So to fire up the car, it's actually pretty simple. We turn on the ignition and we turn on the fuel pump and it should go brrr. You should be able to hear it. This light is our oil pressure light. If we don't have oil pressure, it goes below a certain level, this will come on. And right now we have zero oil pressure because we're not running the car. So this is our oh shit light. And if we need the fans on, you can hear the fans kick on. So we watch the temp, run the fans whenever we want. That helps keep powering the battery. And then if you want to start the car, you hit the start button. Just hold it down until it starts. It's a momentary switch. If you want to kill the car, you can do the battery kill here, or turn off fuel, turn off ignition, turn off power. See, this goes backwards. For me, that isn't the correct angle. So anyway, this thing is designed super basic, super cheap. I mean, this panel, he obviously just drilled like 1/2-inch holes and mounted whatever switches he wanted in there. You know, any switch with a 1/2 inch would fit in there perfect. But here's the fun part. All of this stuff passes tech at Lemons because they have their biggest concern out of everything is safety. And there's guys who have spent literally 2 days welding extra roll bar stuff in just so they could get a lap. Lemons is very strict on safety, and with good reason, because there's a lot of shit boxes out there. It's terrifying sometimes. So you're worried that the car in front of you isn't gonna like blow a coolant line or send a crankshaft onto the track. You're worried it's going to explode, like in the movies, like boom. So when you have all the safety stuff in place, it makes it a lot easier if that car does explode. You know that guy's probably going to be okay, and you know that's how that works. So they're super big on safety. They don't give a crap about aesthetics. They don't care that the horn's missing and this is all corroded. They don't care that there's corrosion on the roll cage. As long as the roll cage is good, the welds are good. Hopefully, this one has a stamp from someone. This is obviously done by a pro. You can tell from the bends that it was done by a pro. But that's what they care about is the safety aspect. They want to make sure your car is 100% safe. They don't care if you've painted it. They don't care if you've, if you have, you know, $100,000 fire suppression system in there. They don't care. That's not their thing. Their thing is safety. I mean, they want you to spend as much as you can on safety. That's their big thing. And so we're going to make this car a little bit safer, but also a little bit more fun to drive, especially removing the steering wheel, setting the gauges up, getting a different seat in here. Getting a different seat in here is going to be the biggest thing. From my memory, like I said, I've only driven this car very little. The clutch is actually really nice. I know this Muncie M22 is a great transmission. I don't worry about the transmission at all. I definitely want to swap out pads, brake pads, and I'd like to bleed the brakes to all new fluid. So all the regular race car stuff, we're going to do new oil, we'll do new fluid. And I got to double check that a boat engine runs the same viscosity as everything else. I don't know much about boat engines, so we're going to find out. I know Ilmore, but I don't know anything else. But this one's supposed to be really fun, and this one's going to be, like I said, super basic. We don't have live streaming in this. We don't have a computer. We're not OBD2. This is basically to go out there and run laps, front engine, rear drive, keep it on the track, go have fun. We're not going to spend a ton of money on this. Maybe put $200 into this, plus the wheels and tires. But we're not going to spend a ton of money. We'll get the steering wheel. Steering wheel will be expensive. The seat will be expensive. But we're not going to put, like I said, we're not doing OBD2 in this. We're not doing live streaming. We're not doing a bunch of other stuff. We're going to get it super safe, super simple, and make it a lot of fun to drive. That's the big thing. So let me grab you guys. I'll get you back up there and make sure my toes are folded underneath here. So give me a second. Doing like car yoga. All right. Oh, that almost closed all the way. There we go. That almost closed all the way too. Get these boogers off. Grease boogers. And get you guys back up there. So give me a second here. Sorry about the shaky. And here's the back view. If you want to see what's in the back of the car, you can see the extra nose and the extra dash. It's actually two extra noses. Sorry, there's a brown one and a blue one. I also have extra fenders for this car. So we'll be doing that as well. We're going to find out. We're going to find out which fenders fit best. This fender is obviously damaged. If we have another fender that works, it's fine, and we'll just paint it gray. So let me swing you guys back around to the front once I get all this cable out of the way. Maybe. Oh, yeah, of course not. Hang on. Okay. All right. So there we go. Oh, and I keep bumping into that mic. I'm sorry. What are you hooked on? Shouldn't be hooked on anything. Where did that go? He's still up here. Cool. Okay. So there's our Monza again. What do we got here? Happy Bunny floor mats. Yeah. And stuff on my pants. The Motec. Yeah, the Fast and Furious stuff is kind of played out on Lemons, but I don't know. It would be funny to have like a sticker, a fender sticker, Motec performance exhaust or something. Yeah. This car's, again, I'm not terribly concerned with, I'm not trying to go for 1,000 horsepower. I don't need an 8-second car. I need something fun and reliable for Lemons. What else do we got here? The Monza looks similar to Trans Am. Yeah, Denise, you're right. It's the wheels that are doing it, because those are off. If you look up a 1988 Trans Am GTA, you'll see these wheels, because that's what these are off of. Now, today those wheels are crazy expensive. 5 years ago, they were stupid cheap. Now they're really expensive. So we'll do similar wheels. We'll do a matching set. I believe these are aluminum wheels. We'll double check that. We want to keep the weight down. So we're not going to add any weight to this car. I don't know what it weighs. I haven't put it on the scales yet. So I'm going to guess we're probably 3,000 pounds, 3,100 pounds. I'm going to say it's over 3,000 pounds for this car. No, maybe with all the crap out of the back, I bet you we're just barely under 3,000 pounds. But it's always nice to have a lighter race car. The downside about the wheels and tires is that they are not matched. So like on the MR6, we have 4 tires. They're all matched. These are staged or stepped or whatever you want to call it. So like I said, we have a 15x8 up front and a 15x10 in the back. So we have to do different front and back. We can't just rotate tires around like we can on the Miata or the MR6. So that's kind of the downside on that. The upside, we have a nice big rear tire, which is a really good thing. And tires for this are not extremely expensive. So that's another bonus, I guess. We're currently running, we run the, hang on a sec. We run the Continental Extreme Contact Forces on the MR6. and they're great. We'll do that on this as well. They're 200 treadwear tire, not terribly expensive, and they work awesome in the dry. They work awesome in the wet. They have great wear, and we've had great success with them on the MR6. So we're going to stick with that on this car. The SRT4 runs a full slick. That's just because it's a totally different car. Okay. So, like I said, I don't know much about this car. I haven't dived into it very deep because I just got it. So obviously, there's stuff that I have to look at. The wiring in the engine bay. I got to find out about boat engines. I got to find out if the other engine is a boat engine. That Mirror Cruiser tag is so funny. And then get all the stuff out of the back. Get that fuel pump working correctly again. I don't know what happened with it. It was all fine a couple of months ago, and now I come to move it in here, and of course it doesn't start. So we'll get stuff figured out. We want to make sure this thing is reliable and safe. So we'll do the seat swap. We'll get the steering wheel. There's a few little things that we have to do this, but we don't have a major build, which is a good thing. We have the engine in it. We have the transmission in it. The diff is in. The drive shaft's great. It doesn't leak. So we're in good shape there. It's a few little things, the seat, the steering wheel, some of the wiring. We'll get all that stuff taken care of. And then we'll have a nice, reliable car, turnkey Lemons car. That's what you really want. You want something to either, and I think this thing, I don't know, does it have plates on it? It has a VIN. No, there's no plates. There's a gigantic hook in the back, like for a tractor. So, yeah. We probably won't put plates on this, so we'll trailer it everywhere, and that keeps miles off of the engine and everything too. But it probably could be street legal because of the seatbelt laws and the age of the car and all that other stuff. We could probably get plates for it and run it down the road, but I'd rather just trailer it. It's a lot easier. It's actually it sucks trailering cars, but it's nice to have that option if you blow something up. Like I said, I have a spare engine. I believe there's a spare transmission. There's a few other spares that are still at Craig's place that will eventually make it up here, and then we'll have a spares package for this. We'll get the extra wheels and tires. Be in good shape. We're gonna do new brake pads. We'll check the rotors and make sure those are 100%. It does have rotors in the back. I believe he did the rotor swap. Yep. So we do have rotors in the rear on a lot of the cars and a lot of the base mods. They came with drums in the back. So I just wanted to check. We have rotors in the rear, rotors up front. We'll double check those, make sure those are good. Definitely swapping the pads out. Pads are cheap, pads are simple, and it's important to stop. Very important. Plus, you want to late break into turns as much as you can, right? So again, we're not going to dump a ton of money into this. We're not doing a $20,000 build. This will be a fairly cheap build and fairly quick. We're not too concerned about body work. We're going to keep it the gray, the primer gray, and uh, we'll add themes to it as we can. We're going to get rid of these numbers. The numbers can come off the car, and we'll do new numbers. I might keep the 98 number just on for a different theme and just replace the numbers just as a kind of a hat tip to Craig's buddy, maybe something like that. I don't know about the rear wing. We'll see. We'll see how things go. We might run one race with it and then we might delete that thing. I don't know how much it's really helping. We'll see. Oh, there's more comments popping up here. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things. We'll have the white car. We have basically a blank piece of paper. This, think of more like a chalkboard with its gray, and we'll be able to do cool themes on both without having to like repaint the car or spray paint it. I mean, there's a lot of cool like spray painted cars, but it's also kind of a pain in the ass to retheme it after you spray paint it. So you know, um, I don't know. I like keeping the base background, and then we can add to it. And we'll keep going with that. So hopefully you guys like this. Like I said, the more we get into it, I'll be back in a few weeks, and we'll do a whole bunch more work on this car and get deeper into it, and definitely show you guys some of the um, you know, how to swap out that steering wheel with a quick release and extension, how to change out the seat from a Kirky to a standard fiberglass race seat. We don't have carbon fiber. Well, I have a carbon fiber seat in the Neon, but the other stuff is all fiberglass. So I'll show you guys how to do that. I'll show you about the fuel cell. There's a fuel cell in the back because it doesn't use a regular gas tank. So a fuel cell in the back. I'll show you the fuel cell, the fuel pump, all of that stuff. We'll get into a little bit more detail, and you can see how this thing was put together. And again, just on a super tight budget, but they're doing it to, make it reliable. So hopefully we have the same kind of reliability. We'll do a whole oil flush. We'll do a coolant flush. Oh, coolant. We're gonna do a water flush. Lemons, you don't run coolant. You run distilled water. That way, when you blow a coolant line, it's water that goes on the track and not glycol. Glycol is very slippery, and it's a lot like oil, so you don't want that. So we run distilled water, and we run our fans a lot. Keep everything under 212. We don't want anything boiling. So, or 220, and head gaskets start undoing. So, yeah, we'll do a lot more dive into this. We'll get into more detail. But again, it's going to be super basic. So there's not a lot like we can go through because it is very basic. But when we do little things, I'll definitely include you guys in that. And speaking of including, thanks everyone for signing up. I saw there was a bunch of new subscribers just literally in the last week. And I thank you guys very much. I'm glad you like what I'm doing here, what I'm doing in Florida, what I'm doing everywhere else. So I'm glad you guys like that. I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can. Like I said, I don't get paid a dime for this. I do it for you guys. I do it because I love teaching people, and I love getting other people into racing. And I'm trying to show you how much fun it is and how simple it is to get into actual wheel-to-wheel racing. Lemons is a great way to do that. Great way to do that. Just got to pay attention to the safety. If you pay attention to the safety and get that nailed, then you can have so much fun with the theme. You can do, like I said, you can do a PT Cruiser with 4 little tiny eBay turbos, or be original and compound them. Try that out. So yeah, hopefully you guys are liking this, and tell a friend, and thanks for hitting the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It's cool to see, get those notes, and then to see the numbers keep going up and up. That's really awesome. It makes me feel good. So I appreciate that. And like I said, if there's something you guys want to see, let me know. Shoot me a message here on YouTube, send me a text, whatever. Let me know, and I'll try and get that car here, or I'll try and do that specific thing. If you want to see, like, how do you do a quick release hub for a steering wheel, let me know, and I'll do a whole video literally from start to finish on how to do that, so it's a lot easier for you. If there's something you want to see with, electrical or brake lines or whatever, let me know, and I'll try and do a video, a live stream that shows absolute detail on all of that. I love getting messages and feedback from you guys that thank you very much for showing me this. I see how, relays work now and how I can customize them and stuff like that. So I love getting the feedback from you guys. That's my payoff. When I get the message from someone that's like, hey man, I wired up the lights on my Jeep and I used your custom relay trick and they work great. When I get that, you can't put a price on that, man. You really can't. And I love hearing that from people. So that's why I keep doing this. And even if I did get paid, I would still keep doing this. I'd do the same thing. No editing, no flash. If it starts on the first turn, starts on the first turn. If it doesn't, let's figure out why not. And you guys will be there with me. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you guys have subscribed, and hopefully we'll just keep going, keep doing all this, and we'll get cooler cars in here, and we'll have a lot more fun. So thanks again for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. If you have any more questions, like I said, put them down below. I'm happy to answer them all. And don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek, give them a kiss on the tip of their nose, hold their hand, give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have an awesome evening. Have a great day tomorrow. I'm flying back to Florida tomorrow. So I probably, by the time I get back to Florida, it'll be too late to live stream. So I'll catch you guys on Friday and we'll do a live stream with the limo or maybe the Miata on Friday, and definitely some stuff this weekend too. So travel day tomorrow, and then we'll get right back into it. So thanks, everyone. We will catch you soon. All right. Have an awesome night. Yeah. Cool. It's basically a decom Monza.